meet today. So we are gathered here and we are going to take you through artificial intelligence. You see, artificial intelligence, I'll say it's like a premature baby that has come to us. Think of a family that is waiting for a baby in June. And now, all of a sudden in February, the baby comes. They knew the baby would come, but they were expecting much later. The same for us. We knew that with the advancement in technology, something that would really shake our life would come. But now, once the baby comes, we welcome it and we try to see. We work together as a husband and a wife. That's why we are here with my sister Agatha. We are not husband and wife, but we want to unravel this baby that has come to us. There are many questions that we ask ourselves about AI. We ask, what really is AI? How does AI work? And how does AI learn? How does ChatGPT, that is very common to us, especially the students, they really love this one. How does it work? How does image generation work? I know the artists among us and the graphic designers. Does AI copy or steal content or other data? The publishers, the callines, and artists, I know like Sebastian here, sometimes we are not very at home with AI. We feel like we want it to, we have worked so much, but sometimes we feel like it's stealing our ideas. Can AI solve difficult and unsolvable problems like mathematics, equations, and so forth? Then is AI smarter or more clever than a human person? Also, does it have sentiments, like some mood swings? We have this one in AI. All that, we are going to juggle our minds and see what comes out of it. But before then, let us see a bit of this history of artificial intelligence. While artificial intelligence might seem like a modern phenomenon, its roots go back centuries, intertwined with humanity's desire to replicate and enhance the mind's abilities. Some early foundations of AI is that AI was planted into human thought long before the advent of technology. Ancient philosophers like Aristotle in the 4th century before Christ or before Common Era, they explored logical reasoning, setting the stage for the algorithms that power AI today. So even before Jesus Christ, that aspect of wanting to do more or to know more was still there. Then we can fast forward to the 17th and 18th centuries. We had inventors like Blaise Pascal and Charles Babbage, or whatever they call him. He created mechanical devices that were capable of performing calculations. And these machines symbolized humanity's dream of creating tools to augment or to make greater our intellectual capacities. Then after that, there came the birth of the modern computing. And in the 20th century, the journey of AI gained a bit of momentum. And during the 1930s, British mathematician Alan Turing introduced the concept of a Turing machine, and a theoretical device capable of performing any mathematical computation. And this was a profound breakthrough in the world of technology. So this Turing, he published some work in a paper that was entitled Computing Machinery and Intelligence. And he posed a question that is still central to AI today. Can machines think? This is the same question that we are asking ourselves today. Whether AI has intelligence of a human person or whether it is even smarter. So Turing, he suggested a test to be done. A human was to interact with both a machine and another human person. So they said, if the human person is not able to differentiate who gives the response, whether it is the machine or it is the human person, then, as a scientist, he said, then we can consider that the machine is also intelligent. So after that, we also fast forward and we see how the birth of AI as a field has come to us. So the field of artificial intelligence was formally born in 1956 during a workshop that was held in that college there. So this event that was led by pioneers like John McCarthy, Marvin Minsky, and Claude Shannon, they introduced the term artificial intelligence. So these visionaries, they aspired to create machines that were capable of tasks that required human intelligence, such as reasoning, learning, and understanding a language. So the workshop basically, it aimed to explore whether human intelligence could be simulated by machines if the machines could assume the work of the humans. So the organizers believed that machines could be taught and learn. They could also be taught such that they're able to reason and solve problems just like human beings. However, we think that their vision was too much far-fetched. And that is when AI entered into a period that is called AI winter. So, a few challenges faced the scientists that time. And by 1970s, it became evident that duplicating human cognition was far more complicated than they initially thought. So with this, the funding that they were receiving, it went down. And then the field of AI entered into a period called AI winter that marked reduced interest and investment. And we can say that this is why this term, it is not really, or it was not really known until of recent that it has surfaced. Why? Because even with this AI winter, the scientists and the researchers, they continued their efforts quietly, chini ya maji. They continued planting the seeds for future breakthroughs. So they waited and waited until all at once, boom, they produced for us this AI. So what are the revival and advances? So AI experienced a resurgence in the 1980s with the development of expert systems which mimicked human decision making in some fields like in medical diagnosis and in factories automation. We had robots. We knew of robots even long before. By the 1990s, the rise of machine learning transformed AI and shifting the focus from programming machines explicitly to enabling them learn from data. So instead of now programming the machines, they tried to teach them in a classroom, listening, as you are listening to us today. And so this era of deep learning in 2010 marked the dawn of a deep learning, a form of AI that uses artificial neural networks, which is inspired by the human brain. So in making AI, they tried to use the aspect of a human person and how the human person functions. And this innovation enabled machines to excel in tasks like image recognition, speech processing, and natural language understanding. That is why sometimes you see people speaking, they are not the ones speaking, and it's something different. let us see how AI can be explained in terms of the brain and what we have said. So the backbone of any AI system is the neural networks, as we have said, and this is a composition of nodes and layers which are interconnected. And as I said before, this idea is borrowed from the human brain. So the nodes and the layers are as we see in this picture here. There is the inputs, then those are the input nodes. Then in between, there are layers that connect to the nodes, and then at the end, we get the output. So in order to be able to understand this better, let us watch a short video to help us with this.
How does an AI actually learn? You can't just have any random neural network and it just magically knows how to identify images of cats and dogs. So first, when you build a neural network, the values of these dials and knobs are probably just going to be random values, or they could be pre-trained values, for example, from an existing model. But how do you get it to be super good at identifying images of cats and dogs? In other words, how do you fine-tune the model to your desired purpose? Well, you need to feed it data, lots and lots of data. So you're going to have to prepare tons of images of cats and dogs, and then you label it. So this is a dog, this is a cat, this is a cat, this is a dog, this is a dog, etc. Basically, this is the answer that the AI needs to learn from this input image. This is called supervised learning, where you label the data. There's also another type of learning called unsupervised learning, where the AI needs to learn to categorize data by itself without any guidance from the human. But for the sake of this video, let's just keep it simple. So we have all these images of cats and dogs, and usually to train a neural network to do a task very well, you need a lot of data, like usually millions of data points. So you basically feed these images to the neural network one by one to train it. And one session of training is called an epoch. So alright, let's say in one training session, you feed it this image of a dog, and it outputs, this is a dog. So alright, that's great, we got it correct, which means that these dials and knobs are doing quite well. They're probably configured correctly since it got the answer correct. You probably don't need to adjust these further. However, what if for the next image you feed it this, and then it outputs, this is a dog? Well, this would be incorrect. So these dials and knobs are likely not configured correctly. If it gets the answer wrong, and it knows it got it wrong because we labeled the data cat for this image, so it can compare its output with our label. So alright, let's say the real answer is a cat, but it said this is a dog. In that case, it incurs some penalty. That penalty basically tells it, alright, you got it wrong, so you need to adjust these knobs and dials to make sure that the output is actually cat when I give you this image. And how it adjusts the values of these knobs and dials is through an algorithm called gradient descent. It adjusts the values via backpropagation. So it adjusts the nodes in the last layer first, and then the previous layer, and then the previous layer, etc., until it reaches the first layer. So again, gradient descent is a key term here. This is the algorithm which the neural network uses to adjust these knobs and dials until it can get the correct answer. So we basically rinse and repeat this with millions of images and lots of epochs or training sessions. And initially, this neural network might get a lot of values wrong, but through this process of gradient descent, these knobs and dials will be tweaked so that eventually, whenever it receives an image of a cat or a dog, it can accurately determine this is a cat or this is a dog. In essence, that's how you train an AI. How does ChatGPT work? So again, it's kind of the same thing. It's training a neural network, but in this case, instead of images of cats or dogs, we train it on a language and all of the data in the world. And of course, the neural network of ChatGPT is way more complicated than this. Rumors claim that GPT-4 has 1.76 trillion parameters. So here's an example of how they would train it. So for example, you could feed it data like this. Which planet has the most moons? And the answer to that would be Saturn. Which country has won most World Cups? Brazil. What's the world's fastest bird? Peregrine falcon, etc., etc. Now, these are very basic questions, and you can see how complex it can get if you give it a prompt like write an essay on XYZ, or does creatine help build muscle, and then it spits out an answer like creatine supplementation generally enhances muscle strength, increases fat-free mass, etc., etc. This is a very long form and complicated answer, so how does it know if it got that answer right or wrong? It's not as simple as identifying an image and determining if it's a cat or a dog. And that's why initially how OpenAI trained GPT was it had lots of humans actually manually verify its answers to determine if GPT got it right or wrong. And this is called reinforcement learning from human feedback, also known as RLHF. And again, if it gets the answer wrong, so for example, if for this question, which planet has the most moons, it answered Jupiter instead of Saturn, then it would get a penalty for it. And then through gradient descent, it would tweak these knobs and dials further until the entire network gets all the answers correctly, no matter what prompt you give it. So in essence, that's how these large language models work.
And we see that a human person will be able to recognize, for example, a man, or even just a human person, we say, when he or she looks at one. But now the AI, it only gets what is trained in. So for example, if a child as it's growing up, it's taught this is a human person. So if a human person comes in any form, it will be able to recognize this is a human person. But in an AI that has been taught, and then the human person, let's say the AI was taught that a human person has two legs, and then it happens a human person passes in front of an AI tool on a wheelchair, for example. The AI will not know that that is a human person. That's the difference we can see, especially with the human brain and the AI machines. So, what exactly is AI? I'd say for sure it is not easy to define AI. Yes, we know what AI is, but it is difficult when it comes to define it. But we can use some few properties or characteristics that are particular to AI in trying to understand what it is. The first one we can say autonomy, and we say that AI, it's that ability to perform tasks in complex environments without constant guidance by a user. And also we can say with the property of adaptivity, that AI is the ability to improve performance by learning from experience. Then there are different forms of AI. Very many. Each day new ones are being invented. And here I just decided to just sample very few, just to help us in our understanding AI, like ChatGPT or Gemini, which is a conversational AI, content generation, and language understanding. We also have others like the Google Bard, the Hugging Face Transformers, Grammarly that we use very often as publishers, I can say. And also we have other different forms of or types of AI, the creative AIs. We have this one, Suno, that is a music or audio generation, which includes vocal and soundscapes. We have the Leonardo, DALL-E, Runaway, Deep Art. One thing I like about AI is in a way it complements where maybe we are not able to reach. For example, I can give a practical example. Me and music, we are in different fields. But with AI, I managed to compose a song for you today. I hired some bands or some people to sing, and we are going to listen to it today so that you see how AI can also complement us and help us. It gives us hope in life. So even though I cannot sing, I cannot compose a music, AI can help me to do that.
Gather today with smiles and cheer. You came to learn to share sincere. Our jubilee, our moment shine.
You see, you can clap for me for that. That is all work of AI. If you told me to sing here, I could not have sung like that. But with the help of AI, I was able to compose something. So, towards a conclusion, AI in our lives today. Today, we can say that AI is ubiquitous. The term has come again. It is everywhere. It powers virtual assistants, drives autonomous vehicles, enhances medical diagnostics, and personalizes online experiences. In the context of our religious life, for example, it provides tools for education, evangelization, and even spiritual growth. However, as we embrace these technologies, we must remain mindful of their ethical implications, where we are soon going, and a reflection in the future about AI. So as we look into the future, the possibilities for AI, they seem boundless, yet this journey reminds us of our responsibility as stewards of creation. The Lord told us, go and subdue the earth. So anything that can come out of AI, let us embrace it. So AI is not just a technological achievement, it is a testament to the divine gift of creativity bestowed upon humanity. So let us approach AI with wisdom, ensuring it serves the common good and aligns with God's purpose for humanity. Thank you.